right, so the timestamp around 4940 was where so this is a podcast from not really podcast per se, but it's around from 2015. And I know some people around here is like, why are you covering the cut why are you doing reaction video coverage that is from an old video? Well, I'll tell you why, and it doesn't really tend to age well, especially from the Amazing Atheist, of course. I think the last time I covered him for the first time was when he was like spurging out over Stonehenge or some shit. Just say you want to marry him. God damn it. All right. Well, he is bisexual, so all right. You hear the let's turn up the volume a bit.
Just like, oh, okay, and they just drive away,
Yep.
you know? Oh, they're white. It's all right. It's all right because it's all white.
Okay, so oh, that was I went in the back way back. Okay, here we go.
Another time, and I'm going to tell a story, and I've told the story before, but I've never really told the more unflattering aspect of it. I was in Universal Studios, the amusement park down in Florida, Orlando, and
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
there was it started drizzling, and we wanted to get off the little walkway area and go into one of the shops, you know, so that we could stay dry. There was some guy who
Sure
I
you don't have a
believe
crush
was
on him?
probably
Yeah,
Cuban,
right.
maybe Puerto Rican. I don't know. He's standing there in the walkway. He won't move out of the way. My brother Scotty, in his attempt to get past this guy, very slightly rubs against his shoulder. Now this guy takes extreme offense to that, and they're like, "Don't be touching me, bro," and all this shit. And Scotty's like, "When am I ever even gonna see you again?" And just kind of walks in. But it got me pissed, you know.
Okay, so this is a really old video, but so TLDR, there is so both I don't know where TJ currently lives, or not TJ, the Amazing Atheist currently lives, but I believe him and his family were on vacation in Florida, and it was taking place at the Universal Studio. And there was some, well, he already described the dude. He said the dude is a, did he already describe it?
I got my blood boiling to see someone acting so belligerently over something so trivial. So I walked up to
Oh, okay, so he described the dude who's like you could have just said Hispanic, be quite honest, but I mean, and here's the part where like Amazing Atheist actually like, where I can say he handled the situation pretty poorly in my opinion. Because like look, a normal person, like if someone is standing in your way, you could just say, "Oh, excuse me," or if the guy is being rude to you, and if you're on vacation, it's like, it's your one-time thing. You just move on with your day. But his brother, at least take it fine. He's just gonna, get over it, right? But meanwhile, Mr. Amazing Atheist is, you're about to listen to where like he made the situation worse.
him, and I started doing my tough guy impression. I was like, "You got a fucking problem, bitch." And you know, he starts talking some of his shit. I get pissed, and I decide I'm gonna push this guy. Now I'm pretty big. I didn't mean to push this guy as hard as I did, but I did end up pushing him to the point where he flew probably 10 feet back, you know?
Oh shit.
And he actually fell into a stroller, a baby stroller, but
Oh no.
no, well, fortunately, there was no baby in the stroller. So,
Oh.
you know, because if there was, I'm sure this story would end differently.
Oh.
It would end with me being in trouble.
Right.
But luckily, there was nothing in there. And, you know, his family and friends started grabbing him, and my family and friends.
So he actually made the situation like worse by, And I get it, there's actually a lot of people there are a lot of assholes in the outside world, which I can understand. But here's the thing though, like if you're on vacation and you only visit like Universal Studios as a one-time thing up in Florida, right? You're not gonna see the same, you're not gonna run into the same dude again. But you mean this is so funny to me. Like, he was like, "Oh, I did not mean to push him that hard." Like, and keep in mind, this dude is 6'6", and he's a heavy dude in terms of weight. Like, he's overweight as fuck. But him being tall doesn't really seem to matter. And he went out of his way to be like, I mean, what do you think is going to happen when you run up to the dude being a fucking asshole to you? I mean, it's not like he actually, har he was going out of his way to harm your family, right? But no, that all he did was insult your brother. You fucking straight up walked up to the dude and just and fucking like you just threw him across. Fuck, pretty crazy if you ask me. I mean, that's honestly, I wouldn't really do it, like unless like someone did that. I guess it's one of those things where the whole ideology is like you know, talk shit, get hit, or better yet, fuck around and find out type of stuff. Oh man, it reminds me of the one anime movie too, where I can actually I can actually show you. Hold on.
A few minutes later.
何漫画じゃん。しかも古い。返してもらえる？真面目ぶってどんなご立派な本読んでるかと思ったら。返して。どうぞ。ごめんね。手が滑っちゃった。古い漫画だからカビでも生えてたのかも。ぬるぬるのやつ。触っちゃった。あのさ、これって喧嘩売ってる？だったら？
Yeah, so this is what happens when someone like does the whole fuck around and find out. And if someone is being a fucking asshole to you, especially in school, because you know how the current school administration is, right? It's like you're gonna straight up, get out of your chair and fucking clock someone in the face. You know, I mean, I believe in that sort of ideology. I know not everyone is, can agree with me. Like, people are free to disagree with me however you like. So, oh yeah,
ちょっと血出てる。やばいって。先生呼んできて。私も行く。
oh yeah, she made she made her she made her nose bleed. That punch sure is pretty hard too. Anyway.
Because if there was, I'm sure this story would end differently. It would end with me being in trouble.
Right.
But luckily, there was nothing in there. And his family and friends started grabbing him, and my family and friends started grabbing me. And we went into the store, and he stayed out there. And I knew it wasn't over. He comes back in. He approaches me. He says something else. I don't bother. I think he said something like, "You want to hit me?" And I said, "Yes." And then I punched him in the face, right? So we get in this big altercation. I'm in a fight with him in the middle of the store now. I push him up against the shelf, and I'm beating him. And then my girlfriend, or actually my wife at the time, grabbed me from behind, and she pulled me off of him. And I ended up falling on top of her because he's pushing me and she's pulling me at the same time. And I end up fucking up my leg. But that's neither here nor there. The point is that, really studying the altercation from an objective standpoint, he kind of started it by being a dick, but who made it physical? Me. In both instances, I took it to the physical place.
This is actually pretty interesting too, right? When what he said, it's like, is it reasonable to retaliate with violence if someone's being a fucking asshole to you? Not really. If it's a fucking stranger, it's just fucking being an asshole to you, then you just fucking move on from it, right? Like especially if someone is like blocking your way, right? Your way of path. Like you wanted to get like if you want to get out of a restaurant, you want to get out of a restaurant after you had your meal, you know trying to buy some stuff, if you're grocery shopping, right? That type of shit.
So really, in terms
The amazing atheist is not relevant anymore ever since being agnostic atheist normalized. You know, surprisingly, yes, but I'm pretty sure there are still hundreds of people out there that still watches him. So, I mean, no matter what people say that people are not relevant, there are still people that still watch him regardless.
terms of who assaulted who, I'm guilty, but I'm white. He's Puerto Rican or Cuban, or he's not white. And so, of course, when the police arrive, they are totally conciliatory towards me.
Wow.
100%. The police even, as I filled out my report, of course, telling my bullshit lie version of events, and they actually were like looking over it and like telling me what I should say where. Oh, say this here. Say this here, They weren't helping him out in that way. They weren't over there telling him what to say.
Right.
Now, in all fairness, there were some other factors besides race. Like I was sitting calmly and being polite, and he was still screaming and ranting
Right,
and
yeah,
raving.
yeah.
So that could also be a factor. But if I really ask myself, was justice done that day? Probably not. I probably deserved to get in more trouble than I did, and I think that my race definitely helped me out in that instance.
That's a fucking fascinating story. I hope that guy's out of jail.
Oh well, no one went to jail or anything.
All right, good.
We just got I got kicked out of the park. He got kicked out of the park. No charges were filed on either end or anything like that, and the park didn't file charges against either of us. So
So
no one's life was destroyed or anything.
so people have actually like looked into the disproportionate.
Okay, well, now I don't think he ever said. Did he actually say that they? Oh, I demonstrated white privilege in this fucking part right there. Oh, like, oh, I'm more favored because I'm white. Therefore, I got away scot free just because this guy is being a dick. I mean, you're probably his biggest fan. Oh, come on, man. I mean, I have nothing against him. I mean, I wasn't even being like fucking an asshole within this reaction. I thought it was like, this isn't the type of thing he should be doing, which kind of question, which is kind of questionable to me because it's either TJ has anger issues or it's just one of those things like, oh, this is just how I do it because I'm protective of, of my family and whatnot.